And as usual, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it, which had been the historical case until Nuremberg. Peter von Hagendas, Hagenbach was a Burgundy, a Burgundian knight from Alsace, and a Germanic military and civil commander who lived circa 1420 to 1474, and was found guilty and beheaded by an ad hoc tribunal of the Holy Roman Empire for committing war crimes that he, as a knight, was deemed to have a duty to prevent. He defended himself by arguing that he was only following orders. In 1865, a Confederate soldier, Henry Wirtz, was held accountable by a military tribunal and hanged for appalling conditions at Andersonville Prison, where many Union POWs died during the American Civil War. In 1921, a small number of German military personnel from World War I were tried by the German Supreme Court for alleged war crimes. Known as the Leipzig War Crimes Trials, they were ineffectual, and no guilty charges were assigned to the 12 persons accused, and all the proceedings were halted.
In the 20th and 21st centuries, the Hague Conventions, along with the 4 related treaties of the Geneva Conventions between 1864 and 1949, were among the first formal statements of the laws of war and war crimes, and the early beginnings of the concept of secular international law. During World War II, the Allies published their Declaration on German Atrocities in Occupied Europe, giving full warning that the above declaration is without prejudice to the case of the major war criminals whose offenses have no particular geographic location. In other words, you can run, but you can't hide anywhere any longer. There was a strong will among the Allies at the end of the war for justice, but would it be of the old retributory kind or something new, and what would that new justice look like? The person that almost single-handedly answered that question and then developed both the legal and moral jurisprudence that resulted in the Nuremberg trials and eventually the creation of today's International Criminal Court was the American Robert Jackson.
On May 8, 1945, World War II ended, and Jackson stepped down from the court to become the chief prosecutor of the first international war crimes trial in history. Jackson held passionate views on stopping aggressive war. He feared civilization could not survive another world war. He saw the trial as a chance to send a message to belligerent leaders of nations that if they waged aggressive war and or conspired to wage aggressive war, that these were serious crimes and would not go unpunished in an international court of law, except that there had never been an international court, nor an international understanding of exactly what were war crimes. And finally, how to bring along Russia, Great Britain, and France, each with its own judicial or not backgrounds and prejudices, and combine all of these issues into a cohesive legal environment that would be impartial, yet punitive, just, and finally withstand the scrutiny of time. Fortunately for humanity, Jackson was up to this extraordinary